And an Australian woman accused of murdering 3 members of her ex-husband's family by serving them poisonous mushrooms is now taking the stand in her own defense. Prosecutors claim Erin Patterson served beef Wellington made with death cap mushrooms. She denies the charges and told the jury earlier the poisoning was a tragic accident. Foreign correspondent Britt Clennett is following the latest on that case for her. Britt, what is she saying in her defense? How is this case going?
Hi, Diane. Well, as she took the stand for a second day, Erin Patterson told the jury that she picked and ate wild mushrooms several years before that deadly lunch, saying she developed this hobby for foraging during COVID, saying they just taste more interesting, more flavor. Now, she told the court that she bought most of those ingredients for that lunch at a local supermarket, and some were purchased from an Asian grocer in Melbourne, others from a supermarket. She said sometimes in that grocer, the bags might say something like wild mushroom mix. Now, she said she couldn't remember the specific purchase. There was also a dehydrator that she bought, which she said she did so to keep the mushrooms fresher for longer.
So, Britt, what is the prosecution presenting so far to try to prove that this was intentional, this was no accident?
Yeah, so today when she was asked if she agreed the beef Wellington that she served to her relatives that day must have contained death cap mushrooms, Patterson gave the very brief and very direct answer, yes, I do, therefore admitting that those poisonous mushrooms were actually in there for the first time. Now, at the center of this is intention, whether she intended to kill her lunch guests, and they need to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that that's the case. And prosecutors have very much honed in on her internet history, a search for websites that locate wild mushrooms for kind of nature enthusiasts. There's also an emphasis on messages that she sent her family members, her ex-husband's relatives. According to local journalists inside the court, there were moments that brought her to tears, including when her messages in a Facebook friendship group were read aloud in court, with one saying, "This family, I swear to God," with an expletive in there too. Patterson said she felt ashamed by those messages.
All right, Britt Clennett, thank you.